So I grew up on the east coast of Pōtiki, Bay of Plenty. My parents split at a young age, and but we were fortunate enough to have a grandmother and grandfather who were, to me, was mum and dad. And then fast forward, say 10 years, it became alcohol and drugs, and you name it, violence, and I was about to do something dumb that was going to be the dumbest decision of my life. I ended up with a few mates and we went and robbed the place. I got 3 years, and I ended up in Perry Maximum. Got a phone call. It was my mum's boyfriend. And, you know, like I said to you, that my grandma was my mum. She passed away because I was an ID user, an identified drug user. I wasn't allowed to go and say bye, you know, and it breaks a man, you know, breaks a man's heart. No closure is, it's a big thing, it's a big thing.
I'd always tell people my brothers were out in the backyard with Dad swinging a hammer, and I'd be in the kitchen with Mum swinging a spatula. And I think that's where my initial interest of food came from. Used to play fight with a, next door neighbour who was basically, he was an adult, you know, little guy. I think I was like 12 or 13. And what I didn't realise was happening is pretty much building my trust and to the point where he eventually ended up molesting me as a child. I knew it was wrong and I knew it was naughty, but at the same time it felt good. And that really, I think, ended up, shaping what I thought at the time who I was.
I got bullied all through school until I was 18. I guess I just had like that real awkward stage, just like super lanky, not many friends and things like that, which is why my mum got me into modelling. If you're gonna model, you either lose your identity to it or you just stand firm in the identity that you have. But growing up, I guess because I was so bullied, I had such low self-confidence, I didn't have my own identity, so I was trying to find my identity in that. I looked at the other girls and obviously they're so beautiful and they were getting so many jobs, and it was something that I wanted as well. Like, I wanted that success. I think it was just so ironic, the fact that, I was surrounded by all these people around me with a camera and flashing lights and, had all the followers and all of that nonsense. But I still felt alone. I guess I didn't know my purpose. And I thought that by having this image of perfection, like you look beautiful in the photos and you look happy and your Instagram feed looks great. But at the end of the day, like, it's not real. I just wanted, like, my life to be real.
I remembered, because I was inside, you can't show weakness. You show weakness and you're in for it, And so every time I'd be in the day, I'd put the facade on. As soon as my door closed, I would cry my eyes out like a baby, man, I carried that for years, just I could not forgive myself, Anyway, they released me and I was sort of angry at the world. Just angry at myself, really, A lot of self-resentment that I got out, done drugs again. Alcohol was worse. Started getting into a little bit of fighting with my brothers, and I would go uptown and would fight, man, weekly fighting. I couldn't null that pain,
Part of, life, I guess, was to meet somebody, get married, have children. So I met this amazing girl, and we got married, and a couple of years, also almost, I guess, 3 years into the marriage, I just felt things were not right. And at first I wasn't sure what it is, but then I guess I started to figure out. And so I left her to go and pursue what I thought it was, and that was all around my sexuality, and I was just convinced that I was gay. When I had, I guess, my first encounter with another guy, it was like, that's what's been wrong with me all these years, you know. It was just like a huge weight lifted off my shoulder. To me at the time, I thought this was the happiest day of my life, because I finally figured out who it was.
I remember I went to a party and my friends were with me, and I was feeling a bit tired, wasted really, drunk, stoned. And so I went and took a nap, and I woke up and I was on fire. So I rolled over and snuffed myself out. And so I walked 3-4 blocks, literally still smoking, passing in and out of consciousness to my closest relatives. I sort of knocked on the door and fainted again. When I came around, I was sitting in the ambulance. They were dousing me with water. I had to go to the hospital for a couple of months and heal, and I just had blisters on my back, and the anorak had stuck to my arm. I still bear those scars. I carry that as a, as a wound. And I look at it and I think, that was probably one of the craziest times in my life,
I guess the gay lifestyle also led me into a real big party scene. I was a heavy drinker. I got really involved in the nightclubs and different boyfriends and situations. And then I was introduced to narcotics, and that was the start of my pee addiction. Love affair with pee it was, pretty much, because that's what it's like. It's like a relationship, and it messed me up. Once it gets its claws in you, then it just takes over your life, and so that's what it did for me for a good number of years. I owed a lot of people money, and including my staff, because I would take everything that business pulled in the door, and I'd use it on drugs. And then I started dealing. I couldn't get enough drugs, I couldn't get enough money, no matter what I did, and it was costing me 10 grand plus a week to feed my habit.
I either really wanted to do church and God, or really just wanted to do modelling and everything that comes with it. I was just really conflicted. I struggled with eating disorders. I would basically just stop eating. I guess it was just like a form of control to try and make myself fit this tiny little mold. Just the agency sending you on crazy diets, trying to maintain that image, and multiple boyfriends and drugs and alcohol, whatever there was that made me feel good at the time, Yeah, I think I just felt really lost, and within the space of 1 year, 3 of my friends from my year group committed suicide. That was the point where I hit rock bottom. I just remember describing my world as grey. Everything's just so grey. It was like there was no substance to anything. It was just like I felt like I just existed, but I wasn't actually fulfilling any purpose. I just was here for that long period of time when I was so depressed. God felt forever away, and I felt so unworthy. The Bible says that God is a God of love. So then, if that's true, why did I feel so unloved? I didn't understand. So I guess it made me doubt who he really was. But I definitely wanted to feel like I was valued and like I had an identity.